Hare Krishna. Today, let's explore the topic of Tithi. Tithi is a Sanskrit word for a division of time defined by the angles between the sun and moon as seen from the earth. There are two topics we want to cover. First, what is a Tithi? And second, how are the Tithis observed in relation to solar days? Let's start with understanding what a Tithi is. To illustrate, we're going to be looking at a fairly realistic depiction of the sun, moon, and earth within the solar system. This is according to Surya Siddhanta, an ancient Sanskrit text on Vedic astronomy. The methods used in Surya Siddhanta are somewhat different than the methods used in modern times to calculate the apparent positions of the sun and moon, but they are surprisingly close, so this model of showing the solar system works quite well. If we look at the solar system from above, the Earth is not even visible. We'll have to zoom in. Our model here is not even drawn to scale. The Earth is actually 10 times farther from the Sun than shown in this model. As we continue to zoom in, we begin to see the Earth spinning on its axis, defining days and nights. We also see the Moon orbiting the Earth, defining lunar months. In our modern workaday world, we use clocks to tell time. But in ancient times, people lived more in alignment with natural cycles. So the day begins at sunrise and continues until sunrise the next day. As we look at the solar system from above, we can see the Earth orbiting the Sun. As we zoom in, the Sun disappears, but you can still see an imaginary yellow line that connects the Earth to the Sun. There's also a set of green spokes which are drawn in to show the Tithis. You can see an imaginary silvery line connecting the Earth to the Moon. The angle between that yellow line and the silvery line is what determines the Tithi. Look at the green spokes. Each one of those is 1/30th of the complete circle. By knowing which division the angle falls in, we can know the Tithi. There are 2 fortnights or pakshas in a lunar month. The dark fortnight, called Krishna Paksha in Sanskrit, starts from when the moon is opposite to the sun and we have a full moon. This Krishna Paksha goes from the full moon to the new moon. The new moon is called Amavasya in Sanskrit, and the full moon is called Purnima. The other Paksha is the waxing fortnight, called Gaura Paksha or Shukla Paksha in Sanskrit. This Gaura Paksha goes from the new moon or Amavasya to the full moon or Purnima. Altogether, there are a total of 30 Tithis in a lunar month. Let's slow that down a bit. Here we are at the start of Purnima Tithi, with the sun and moon exactly opposite. As the angle crosses to the end of that first slice of 1/30th, we reach the end of the Purnima Tithi. This end of the Tithi is what we use as the critical time for determining on what day we observe the Tithi. Note that the time taken to cross a Tithi is going to vary, and it's the time of the end of the Tithi that we are going to use. We'll show the end of each Tithi here in this animation. After the Purnima, the Tithis are simply named according to the Paksha and the Sanskrit ordinal number. So, Krishna Pratipat, Krishna Dutiya, Krishna Tritiya, Krishna Chaturthi, Krishna Panchami, Krishna Shashti, Krishna Saptami, Krishna Ashtami, Krishna Navami, Krishna Dashami, Krishna Ekadashi, Krishna Dwadashi, Krishna Trayodashi, and Krishna Chaturdashi. And then finally, we come to Amavasya. Following Amavasya, the Tithis are named according to Gora Paksha and the ordinal. Again, like the Krishna Paksha Tithis. Gora Pratipat, Gora Dvitiya, Gora Tritiya, Gora Chaturthi, Gora Panchami, Gora Shashti, Gora Saptami, Gora Ashtami, Gora Navami, Gora Dashami, Gora Ekadashi, Gora Dwadashi, Gora Trayodashi, and Gora Chaturdashi. This brings us back to the next Purnima, and we have completed an entire lunar month. Now that we understand what a tithi is, let's look at how we figure out what day to observe a particular tithi. This is another topic. So to start with, let's back up and go back to the end of Amavasya. So what day would we observe Amavasya on? Now, tithis are going to end at the same time everywhere on the globe because it's a function of the angle between the sun and the moon, but local times will be different. So we're going to look at two locations. First, let's look at Conway, Arkansas. On Friday, August 22nd, the sunrise was at 7:34 Eastern Daylight Time. The Amavasya Tithi would end 2 a.m. the next morning. But remember what we said, our days are defined by sunrise. So that means that the Tithi ended between sunrise Friday and sunrise Saturday. Now, let's fly across 9.5 hours of time zones to New Delhi, India. In New Delhi, the end of the Amavasya Tithi is at 11:30 a.m. on Saturday, August 23rd. It's exactly the same time, just as we said, everywhere in the world. But we would observe Amavasya Tithi on Saturday, not on Friday. Why is that? Because that 11:30 end of Tithi time is comfortably between sunrise on Saturday and sunrise on Sunday. Here, we've deliberately chosen a very simple case where it's very obvious that we would observe the tithis on Saturday in India and on Friday in the US. Sometimes this seems a little counterintuitive. How is it when the sun rises in India before the US, we might observe a tithi a day later? This is why. It's because the end of the tithi falls between sunrise of one day and sunrise of the next. Now, of course, this is a very simple case. There are many more complex cases, especially for certain tithis like Ekadashi, where there can be, when the tithi end is close to sunrise or sunset, or under certain nakshatras. That's another thing, and I'm not going to try to get into that. This is just to give the basic idea of tithis. Thank you for watching. Hare Krishna.